In fact, I think the Warriors are responsible for the worst jersey in the history of the NBA. The sleeved yellow jersey with the pinstripe shorts. The worst uniform in the history of the NBA, and I will die on that hill. I have actually had nightmares of that jersey. I have had nightmares of Jarrett Jack showing up to my house dressed in that uniform, ready to kill me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year again. We are starting to see leaks for jerseys for the 2022-2023 NBA season. From what I can gather, these leaks, while they are very shitty in quality, right? The screenshots, I mean, there are 6 or 7 total pixels combined on these screenshots. We're having to squint just to make out what the hell it is we are seeing. But from what I can gather, these leaks are pretty accurate. We have, I'll try to remember whose Twitter account it was that posted them. If I can remember, I'll put it up here right now. But we have 3 different types of jerseys. We have city jerseys, statement jerseys, and classic jerseys. Not every single team has a jersey on these leaks. Some teams have 3, some teams have 1, some teams have 2. But today, what we are going to do is look at all these jerseys and critique them. You know, as something of a fashion expert myself, I feel like I'm very, very qualified for this. But since, you know, teams have spent countless hours, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours developing and creating these jerseys, I'll try to be as constructive and positive as possible. So with that being said, let's get to the ugly piece of shit jerseys first. The Dallas Mavericks, right? We know the Mavericks as a team, as a franchise, collectively, they usually have some of the worst jerseys imaginable. But this time around, I think that they're pretty solid. The city jerseys here, I think that they're good, right? The Mavs, it's a cheat code with the fan base. If they just incorporate green into the jersey in any capacity, most fans are going to buy on. Most fans are going to like them. And that's kind of the case here, right? I like the vintage throwback font on the front. I like the blue color. Obviously, the green outline looks great. Wish that they would go to green more than they already do. But I think that this jersey looks fine. I have no complaints with it. I actually think it looks pretty good. I think they did a good job with this city one. And the statement one here, I mean, what's the statement exactly? We make boring ass jerseys? Because if that's what you're going for, then mission accomplished. I don't like these jerseys. I see some people on Mavs Twitter really do. They just look like practice jerseys to me. I don't know. They're so boring. There was a time whenever I first saw this, and a bunch of other people on Twitter thought so too, that these jerseys were black. And if that were the case, then I would be a little bit more interested, right? The team's doing something a little bit different, but they're navy blue. I don't know. They just look like practice jerseys. I mean, they're not ugly, right? They're not hideous, but they're just not the best. My cat's running around. So if you hear little tiny, cute little paws running across the floor, it's him, okay? All right, let's get to the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks have done a great job in recent years with their jerseys. They usually always have really, really good-looking jerseys. And I think, again, that's the case here with these city jerseys. The font reminds me a lot of the Atlanta TV show. I don't know if that's the purpose here. Keep in mind, right? A lot of these city edition jerseys, they're designed to symbolize something within the local culture, for the city, for the state, whatever the case may be. And obviously, as somebody who's lived in Dallas, Texas my whole life, I don't know. So if there's some symbolism here that I'm missing, I'm sorry. I apologize, right? I don't want anybody in my comments to be like, well, you see, in fucking 1913, John Frederick walked into the Atlanta news station and he demanded that the font, like, I don't know any of that stuff, okay? So to me, this looks like the Atlanta TV show, but it looks sick. I like it a lot. I like the peach coloring. I really like the font for the numbers. I just think it looks really good. Again, the Hawks usually do a great job with their jerseys. All right, moving on to the Celtics. I've seen a lot of Celtics fans upset by this jersey, and I guess I kind of get it. You know, you are a classic franchise. You have one of the most recognizable uniforms, one of the most recognizable brands in all of sports with the green and the white. It's very basic, it's very simplistic, but everybody recognizes it as you, and because of that, usually you're not going to take too many risks, and that's the case we see here with the city jersey. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. Like, I like the font. Kind of reminds me of a Christmas Day game font. I just think it looks good, and it'll probably look good in person. I understand, you know, there's no risks being taken here, but every time it feels like the Celtics step out of the comfort zone, it looks like trash. I'm thinking back to those the sleeved gray jerseys. Those things were hideous. And listen, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, okay? I'm going to be very candid here. I have pretty big nipples, okay? That's just the reality. I have pretty big nips, and every time I see those jerseys, I can't help but think about how massive my fucking nipples would look in those jerseys, okay? So I just think that these jerseys, sure, they're safe, whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that. They still look good. The Nets. Woo, the Nets always make good jerseys, man. The City Edition ones, they're the white Basquiat ones. They already have this Basquiat jersey in black, and I think, you know, bringing it back is cool. I think this is one of the most unique jerseys in the NBA, and I just really like what they did. I think it looks really good. I think it goes good with their court too, and them doing it in white makes plenty of sense to me. Obviously it's nothing new or anything like that, but still, these jerseys look great. I absolutely love them. And then they are also doing a classic jersey, a throwback to the ABA days. Anytime the Nets do a throwback, it usually looks great. They have a lot of great jerseys throughout their history, and the same thing can be said for these two. These two jerseys are great. I like them a lot. I think they'll look really good in person, and just the Basquiat jerseys are great. I mean, they really, really are. Chicago Bulls. Very similar to the Celtics in the sense that you have a very recognizable brand, so therefore you're not going to do too much. You're not going to do too much, crazy outside of the box things when it's just really easy for you to keep it simplistic. Everybody recognizes your brand, and that's the case here. But I still think this looks really, really good. I know it's very, very, very minimalistic. You have this Chicago font. It's in red. I like the black outlines. I just think this is one of those jerseys that are going to look really good in person. You know what I mean? Like on the floor. I think they're going to look really, really good, even though there's nothing crazy. Every time leaks like this come out, there's always some jerseys that are crazy. You have a bunch of shit going on. You're like, oh my God, that jersey looks crazy. And then you see it on the court and you're like, ugh, it looks pretty ugly. And that's like, I know it'd be cool to have like a jersey where the Bulls running across and you have the Chicago skyline and like the Chicago bean somewhere on the jersey. I know that sounds cool, but then you see it in person, you're like, oh, that is not good. So I think sometimes simplistic is good. And I think that this jersey right here, yeah, it's nothing crazy, but it'll look good. It'll look good in person. Oh, this Cavs jersey. This one is nice. I really, really like it. Listen, you guys will understand this later in the video as well. I am a sucker for any jersey that has font on it that is not the team name or the city the team is from. If you have font on your jersey that is something different than the name of your city or your team name, I am bought in entirely. I love this jersey a lot. The land, I mean, that's so sick. I like that they're doing that. I like the font. I like the, mustard, goldish color. I just think this is going to look sick. Again, pretty minimalistic, right? Outside of that, there's not a lot going on. But I still think it looks really, really, really good. Cleveland, they've done a great job with their jerseys lately. Denver, I've seen some Nuggets fans disappointed by this. And yeah, I can understand why. The Nuggets have some of the best jerseys in NBA history. So anytime they come out with a jersey as, tame and simple as this, I understand being a little disappointed. But I still think this looks pretty good. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. And also, the thing with Nuggets uniforms is they'll almost always have something along the sides or something on the shorts that make the jersey stand out a little bit more. So we'll have to wait and see if there's something along the lines there with the rest of the uniform. But I think this looks fine. It's middle of the pack, but it still looks good. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I am issuing a trigger warning right here, okay? Viewer discretion advised, because what you are about to see for this next jersey, it's going to be shocking to some. It's going to be shocking. The Golden State Warriors, I'm not letting them off easily. They, I think, have some of the worst jerseys in all of NBA history. Just some of the worst. Even their best jerseys, like the We Believe era, the only reason why people think those jerseys look good is nostalgia. Those jerseys are not good. In fact, I think the Warriors are responsible for the worst jersey in the history of the NBA. The sleeved yellow jersey with the pinstripe shorts. The worst uniform in the history of the NBA, and I will die on that hill. I have actually had nightmares of that jersey. I have had nightmares of Jarrett Jack showing up to my house dressed in that uniform, ready to kill me. Those jerseys are terrifying. They're horrible. And you know what? I think they might have outdone themselves. This city jersey right here has the potential to be one of the worst jerseys ever worn. And I have collectively, over the past 2 days since this thing has leaked, I spent probably 3 hours total looking at this jersey, trying to make out what the fuck it was I was looking at. Because surely I was missing something. I mean, you have the two-tone gradient, black fade to yellow thing. And I'm trying to think, has that ever worked? I'm thinking of the Mavs jerseys a few years ago, the neon ones that looked horrible. This gradient fade thing almost never works. I can't imagine it's going to work here. It looks like somebody pissed their pants. Literally looks like somebody has piss in their pants. That's what it looks like. It looks like one of those pillows you have, where it's one color and then you rub it and it turns to a different color. That's what this jersey looks like. I cannot possibly make out what it is they are doing with this jersey. And again, I know there might be something here I'm missing as far as the city stuff goes, something symbolic of the Bay Area, but I don't really care. It just looks so terrible. I really don't understand it. And then you have the statement jerseys here. These are fine. I have no problem with this. I think there's like 6 or 7 statement jerseys in this league. All of them were boring. I don't know what the statement is there. I don't know if it's something more symbolic, some symbolic messaging from the NBA, a statement on how boring and mundane our life has gotten under this bone crushing capitalistic system we live in. I don't know what it is, but they're fine, right? This jersey's fine. Then you have the classic jersey. Again, I've already said what I've said about the Warriors. I don't think their jersey history is that great. Sure, it looks nice. It looks, clean, but it's nothing crazy. I think that these will look good in person, but, it's nothing too wild. So Golden State Warriors continue to have some just dog shit jerseys. Sorry, Warriors fans. It's just true, man. It's just true. Okay, now we're talking about the Clippers. These are fine. I don't have any issue with these jerseys from the Clippers. Pretty simplistic again, right? I do like the Los Angeles font on the City Edition jerseys. I know that's Mr. Cartoon, right? Am I wrong in thinking that? They still have the red and the blue piping on the shoulders. I think that's cool. And then you have the statement jerseys here with the sails on the side. I think one of the jerseys they've worn this year has that as well. Different color, obviously. And whenever I first saw it, I thought it was going to look really, really bad in person just because, whenever you're watching a game on TV, you're getting the side angle most of the time. So I thought that the sails on the side would maybe look really weird, but they actually look good. Like, it actually looks a lot better than I thought. So, this jersey will look good. And it's nothing crazy or anything like that, but of all the statement jerseys, I would say that this one is probably the best that has leaked so far. The Lakers, they have 3 jerseys here. And, it's the same thing as the Celtics, where it's like, you're a very known brand, so you're not going to do anything too crazy with your uniforms, right? It's just going to be a different iteration of the same white, purple, and gold, and, it looks good. I like the city one looks good. The statement, listen, I just don't really like the dark purple Lakers jerseys that much. I don't know what it is. They look very sleepy, very NyQuil-ish. Like, that's just what, I just get reminded of NyQuil when I look at this jersey. I don't know why. I'm just not that big of a fan of it. And the classic jerseys I do really like. Anytime you have an excuse to put light blue on your jersey, I'm bought in. You should do it. I'm subscribed to the notion that every time you put light blue on your jersey, you should do it. I think we should all subscribe to that notion. And speaking of subscribe, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do so. We stream NBA content all the time. We post NBA content all the time. And we want to get 10,000 subscribers before the end of the postseason. I need you guys to hit that sub button. Please, man. Hit the sub button. Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have hit it out of the park with their jerseys recently. And it's no different here. I like these jerseys. They're very simple, right? They're very simple, just black with the Memphis text. I like the text. I like the look of the numbers. It's just, it's cool. It gets the job done. And then the statement jerseys, they've worn these before, right? Like, they wear these jerseys. Am I wrong? Or am I thinking of something else? These jerseys look very, very familiar. Again, nothing crazy, but, they get the job done. They're not terrible. Right? You'd rather be not crazy than terrible. Miami Heat have some of the most polarizing jerseys of the recent, the past decade or so. You've had the Miami Vice jersey. Everyone loved it whenever they first introduced it. And then every single iteration afterwards was like, all right, man, you guys are really starting to push the limits here. The patchwork jerseys that they wear now, the black ones, those are very controversial. I actually kind of like them. I think that they're unique. I think they're a nice play on the NBA 75 theme. And it looks like we're getting another iteration of that this upcoming season with the white jersey instead of the black one. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to look on the white jersey. I think it looks pretty good on the black one. White one, we'll have to wait and see. The classic jersey, though. Woo, I like this. Again, very simple. There's not a lot going on here. But there's just something about the way they made jerseys in the 90s, in the early 2000s. It was like they were at, their board meeting. They were in the meeting room, the conference room. The jerseys designers were like, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the number covering the whole fucking front of the jersey. The entire front of the jersey is going to be the number. And I absolutely love it. I love how big the number is on these jerseys. I just think it looks good. Feels like modern jerseys are so minimalistic, so simplistic. That's like the logo is so small. The font is so small. The numbers are so small. I'm thinking about the City Edition Mavs jerseys this year. Everything is so small. The whole jersey is just white basically, and the tiny little fucking specks where the number is and where the logo is. I like these old jerseys where the numbers are huge, the logos are huge. I love these Heat jerseys. I think they look great, and they're most certainly going to look fantastic on TV and in person. So good job, Miami. Milwaukee, too. I like the Milwaukee jerseys. The city ones, I'll have to wait and see. I do admire how Milwaukee always kind of takes risks and does something different with their jerseys, different colors. We all remember the Cream City jerseys. I mean, that's a team that doesn't give a fuck, right? A Cream City jersey, you have to know what's in store for you whenever you have Cream City written on the front of your jersey. So I always admire that they're willing to do something else. I think this blue jersey could work, for sure. I'll have to see it, obviously, in person first, but I think this could work. And then the throwback one. Woo! This one is nice. Again, very simple. Not a lot going on, but purple jerseys almost always work. You have to almost try to fuck up a purple jersey. And I know I just said that about the Lakers jersey. I don't like theirs. Theirs is very dark purple. I like the more, brighter purples like we see from Milwaukee, a Phoenix one we're going to talk about here in a second, those old Raptors jerseys. Those look great. And this one looks great too. Very simplistic, but it's going to work. Obviously, this was a classic throwback jersey, and it's going to look really good. The Knicks jersey, I don't like these. I'm just going to be honest with you, man. I don't know what it is. The Knicks, you have a very recognizable brand. Everybody knows your uniforms. Everybody knows the orange color, the blue color, all of that. I feel like you're taking away from that when you have these black jerseys. I don't know what it is. I just don't like when the Knicks wear the black jerseys. I know that it's, as a Knicks fan, you probably want them to have more than just the white and the blue jerseys, but I don't know. I don't really like them. I don't like these Pelicans ones either. I get the Mardi Gras stuff, but it feels like they've done this a million times. You know what I mean? It feels like they've done this with like different color combinations a trillion times already. It's just kind of boring and played out. I love Mardi Gras. I love the city of New Orleans. It's the best weekend destination in the United States, especially if you live in the South. I love visiting New Orleans. You can only stay there for 3 days though, because after that, it is scientifically proven. After that, if you stay 4 or 5 days, you will leave a different person. Your brain will be permanently rewired. You will leave that city a different human being. But these jerseys right here, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they could do better. Oh, speaking of do better, what the hell are these Thunder jerseys? What the hell are these Thunder jerseys, man? Whoever designed these needs to be fired. I am advocating for whoever designed these jerseys to be fired. Truthfully, I am. I'm not doing it for the Warriors jersey because I'm convinced an 11-year-old made that, and I'm just not going to do that. These Thunder jerseys, though, they suck, man. They're so boring. Oh, my God. And gray? Does gray ever work? I'm trying to think of a gray jersey that worked out great. The only one I can think of is the Dallas Mavericks trash bag jerseys. That is a misunderstood classic uniform that I'm tired of the slander of, okay? This Thunder jersey, though, it's just so boring. I don't know. I don't like their direction they've been going with their jerseys. The all-white ones that they have, I think, are boring this year. These are, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I'm not a fan. I am a fan of these 76ers jerseys, though. Remember what I said. If you put text on the front of your jersey that is not your city name or your team name, I'm bought in. I love the brotherly love stuff. I think that it looks great. I really like this jersey. Another jersey that I think is going to look fantastic, probably in person and on the court. So I really like the 76ers jersey. I love the direction they're going. I'm contradicting myself again here. I said anytime you can get light blue on your jersey, you need to do it. I take it back, man. What the hell are these Suns jerseys? I don't understand them. I've seen people say it's turquoise. Turquoise is the biggest gem in Arizona or something. Listen, I feel like we have to explain something, okay? You can have a jersey that's very symbolic, that has meaning, that has deep-rooted meaning for the city or state that you live in, okay? And it could still be ugly as shit. Like, just because it's symbolic does not mean it's good. Just because it's a throwback does not mean it's good. These are hideous. I can't get behind these at all. I think that these look awful. Not a fan. The throwback ones, though, am a huge fan. These are some of the best jerseys in the history of the NBA. I love the purple color, obviously. You have the shooting star basketball going across the front. I absolutely love these jerseys. I mean, this was such a great time. Such a great era for jerseys. And I'm happy that they're bringing these back. I think they look fantastic. The city one, terrible. Classic one, good. Trailblazers. Here I go again, contradicting myself with the font, right? With the text on the front. They have PDX, which is the initials, the abbreviation for the airport in Portland. How do you guys feel about that? I know there's probably some mixed feelings about this, because I do know some people, correct me if I'm wrong, some people refer to Portland as PDX. But I just feel like having the abbreviation of your local airport on the front of your jerseys is weird. Like, how would I feel if the Mavs jerseys said DFW or Love Field? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to like it very much. So I don't know how I really feel about these. Oh, shit. That was probably really loud. Sorry. I don't know how I feel about these, to be 100% honest with you. I'll have to wait and see. And I do kind of like the stripe, carpet thing. But it's one of those things I'll have to see what it looks like. I know that's a cop-out. But I'm not, sold on this. But I also don't think it's terrible. We'll have to wait and see. Spurs. Love these jerseys. I mean, they probably have the best combination of jerseys here, I would have to say. The Spurs have always kind of been outside of the box with their jerseys. Going back to, the early 2010s to mid 2010s, when most teams were incredibly simplistic with their jerseys. Most teams were just doing the bare minimum. They were coming out with, the camo jerseys, the digital camo jerseys, the low Spurs jerseys. I thought that those were sick at the time. Obviously, the camo jerseys got played out, but it was still something kind of outside of the box at the time. And they have the Taco Bell jerseys this year I think are great. I think these right here, the City Edition, the light blue, I think these are sick. I really, really do. I think these are dope. I think it's, it fits the team. It fits the San Antonio area. And it's also different enough from their team that it makes sense, right? You have the black and the silver for the Spurs. This is so different, but it still makes sense. Like the Suns one doesn't make any sense to me. This one makes sense. I think this looks good. And then you have the classic here, black on black ones. These are disgusting. These are incredible. I love these jerseys. So the Spurs are looking good. Raptors, only one jersey here. Is this not a little bit played out? The black and gold thing, the OVO thing, is this not a little bit played out? I know there's like a design on here. I cannot for the life of me make it out because this screenshot has 3 pixels total. But I don't know what it is. I don't know. Kind of boring. I feel like if you're the Raptors, you have so many different directions you can go. So just doing this boring thing again, I don't know how I feel about it. Wizards, very, very, very controversial jersey here. The cherry blossom jersey, pink jersey. I've seen some Wizards fans that hate this. I personally think it's great. Maybe I would like for them to, change the font maybe a little bit of the Washington text, or maybe change the lettering for the numbers. But I think that this looks nice. And again, it's obviously it's pink. It's out there, right? It's different than any other jersey in the NBA, but it's also not like, I don't know. It's not crazy. You know what I mean? I think this is going to look really, really good. And then you have the classic throwback Wizards jerseys to like the 2000s. I think that I like these jerseys a lot. I really, really do. I don't know if it's probably nostalgic because these jerseys aren't crazy good, but I just think there's something about them that I like. Moving on, we have 2 more teams. These teams didn't have city jerseys, but they had different jerseys. You have this Utah Jazz statement jersey. There are a lot of reports that the Jazz are going, black and yellow. Like that's going to be there's going to be a huge rebrand this upcoming offseason. They're going black and yellow. That's just what I'm hearing. And I'm also seeing shit on Twitter that they're like trying to almost do away with the Jazz entirely. I don't know if they're looking to change their name or just move on from like Jazz branding. I'm not entirely sure. But these jerseys are hilarious to me, man. These jerseys are so funny. It's just like the statement jerseys, Utah. Like that's just what it just seems. It just feels. I look at this jersey, I just imagine somebody just sitting in a room, just going Utah. I don't know. These jerseys are so. They're just nothing. These are just literally nothing. These are rec beer league jerseys you make with your friends. The cheapest option available at your local sports store. I don't know. And then you have the Pistons jersey. Pistons classic jersey, incredible jersey. Teal blue. I love the Pistons logo, the Pistons logo. I know that this is, every time I read an article about some of the worst jerseys ever, this jersey somehow ends up on it because people don't like the Pistons logo. I think they're fucking insane. This jersey is sick. I love the coloring. I love the logo. I think it looks incredible. And honestly, if the Pistons were to do a complete and total rebrand where they just bring these jerseys back entirely and it was the only thing they wore, I think it would be a huge success. So yeah, these are all the jerseys that have leaked. Let me know what you guys think. What's your favorite? Which ones are looking good? Which ones are looking terrible? I don't think there's any. The Warriors one is egregiously bad. I think the Phoenix one is really, really bad. Outside of that, though, these all look pretty good. And it doesn't seem like there's too many teams outside of like the Spurs who are really doing crazy stuff. The Heat, the Heat mismatch one, and the Nets Basquiat one. They're out there and they're unique, but they're just kind of recolors, right? So we'll see. Obviously, this could be entirely fake, and if it is, I'm definitely not deleting the video. I'm just going to keep it up. But yeah, anyways, make sure you guys subscribe. Okay, goodbye.